Hello guys, welcome back to Old Trafford, and today we want to talk about who is the athletic midfielder that Manchester United is going to buy that is going to change the dynamics of the team of Ruben Amorim. And it has been reported over the last month that Manchester United has been interested in buying an athletic midfielder after buying probably a striker and Brian Mbeumo. So guys, what is actually or who is actually an athletic midfielder? An athletic midfielder is a midfielder that encompasses a strong physical attributes like speed, like strength, like stamina, alongside with tactical awareness. So now the questions we want to ask ourselves is that who is the most compatible athletic midfielder for Bruno Fernandes, and what are the type of athletic midfielders that we have currently in the market, and who were the previously best athletic midfielders in the market. So these are all the topics and all the subjects we are going to be addressing in this video. So guys, let's dive into this video, and I'm going to show you a list of all the athletic midfielders that are available currently in the market that can be able to change the system of Ruben Amorim. So guys, being an athletic midfielder actually makes you to have a lot of characteristics. It involves you covering a lot of large spaces with a lot of intensity and explosiveness, and also the endurance to carry out this duty consistently in games. It also involves you to be good in small acceleration in tight spaces, and these are one of the characteristics of being an athletic midfielder. And the most important attribute of being an athletic midfielder is that you have to be actually good in ball carrying, you have to be physically dominant in ground use, you have to have a good vertical leap, good agility, you also have to have a good coordination, and also you need to have a very good aerial ability. So these are the characteristics of being an athletic midfielder. And if you want to evaluate and analyze the midfield of Manchester United, currently we don't have that profile of midfielder that can be able to tick all these boxes. Probably prime Casemiro is the only player that can be able to tick all these boxes of being an athletic and a mobile midfielder. And it is a very big worry for a coach like Amorim, because he will have to deal with a lot of, he's going to deal with a lot of deficiency from the player, and this is not going to make him to bring out the best of his pattern. So guys, let's analyze all the midfielders in Manchester United to see actually where they are deficient using these attributes of an athletic midfielder that I just mentioned. So guys, you're going to start with Manuel Ugarte. If you look at Manuel Ugarte, is actually very physically dominant in ground use, and he also has a very good agility, but he's lacking in other characteristics of being an athletic midfielder, like having the ability to carry the ball over large distances, having good coordination. Most of the times he's very shaky in games. He doesn't have that coordination. He's not good aerially. Going over to Kobbie Mainoo is good in coordination. Kobbie Mainoo is good he has a very good agility. Kobbie Mainoo is also actually good in ball carrying, but he cannot be able to carry the ball over large distances, and this is actually a very big deficiency. Like I said, Casemiro is actually going to tick all these boxes. When you go to Bruno Fernandes actually is very deficient in ground use, he's deficient in aerial use. Bruno Fernandes also just ticks few of those boxes there, so it's actually a very big problem for Manchester United. So let's go over to the best athletic midfielders in the history of football, and also the current best athletic midfielders, and this is going to sort of give us an idea of who are the best athletic midfielders currently in world football that Manchester United can be able to buy for a good price. So when you're talking about the best athletic midfielders in the history of football, we are going to be starting with Patrick Vieira, because Patrick Vieira actually dominated the Premier League for a longer period. He dominated the Premier League in the 90s and the 2000s with Arsene Wenger, and Arsenal was actually good. He was a beast. But Patrick Vieira could actually win grand deals for the whole of the game. He could cover every grass with a lot of intensity, with a lot of pace, and he was very tall. So his stature was actually very big, and Patrick Vieira was one of the players that was very instrumental in the winning of the Invincibles for Arsenal. Then going over to Edgar Davids. Edgar Davids was actually named the Pitbull because he was very aggressive. He was a complete athletic midfielder. Going over to Michael Essien. Michael Essien was one of the most instrumental players in the Jose Mourinho era. He was not just marking with explosiveness, but he was marking with a lot of intensity, with a lot of preciseness. Michael Essien was a very, very good player. Then going over to N'Golo Kanté. N'Golo Kanté is actually a player that actually revolutionized that defensive midfield position of an athletic midfielder, because other defensive midfielders were actually good, was actually very good more when it comes to winning the ball and being aggressive and explosive. But N'Golo Kanté was actually very good in winning the ball, and he was also good in transition. His final third passes was very wonderful. Then going over to Declan Rice. Declan Rice is actually known as the modern Patrick Vieira, given the fact that he could actually win the ball for 90 minutes of the game. He has this consistency. He has a very good ball carrying ability. He has a wonderful recovery. He is a good player. He has a very good passing range. So when it comes to the best defensive midfielder or the best athletic midfielder in the Premier League currently, definitely there is no other name than Declan Rice. So guys, let's actually analyze the names, the 4 names we have in the options for the athletic midfielder that Ruben Amorim might likely, or Manchester United would need to sign to change the pattern of Ruben Amorim. So guys, in analyzing the best athletic midfielder or the best partner for Bruno Fernandes in Manchester United, as you know, Bruno Fernandes is going to be the new number 8 for Manchester United, and we want to find a suitable athletic midfielder, just as Ruben Amorim wants to partner with Bruno Fernandes. Now, before you go over identifying those options, you have to actually look at the physical weaknesses or the weakness overall of Bruno Fernandes. We all know Bruno Fernandes is weak in aerial duels. He's actually not really decent in carrying the ball over large distances. Bruno Fernandes also lacks this physical dominance and also the ability to cover ground duels or to cover the pitch, a large portion of the pitch for 90 minutes. So guys, the first option on our list is actually Carlos Baleba. Carlos Baleba from Brighton is actually a premium target for Manchester United. He is actually going to be the target that is going to absolutely transform Manchester United, because if you look at his stats, he is actually a very good bowler. He's actually very physically dominant. When you look at his aerial duels, he's really a monster when it comes to the players with the highest aerial duels in Premier League. Carlos Baleba actually ranks 9th position for people with the highest aerial duels in the whole of the Premier League, despite his height. And also when you look at the under 21 players in top 5 leagues with the highest long passes, Carlos Baleba actually ranks number 1, as he actually has a very good long passing range. And also when it comes to the strength of Baleba, the highest strength of Carlos Baleba is the endurance. He has the endurance to consistently cover ground duels and to cover large portion of the pitch for a longer period of the game. He can do that for double 90 minutes. So that's one of the reasons why Carlos Baleba is the number 1 on the list. He's actually an efficient player and is actually good in every of his characteristics. So when it comes to the number 1 athletic midfielder that Manchester United needs to get to transform the team, it is absolutely Carlos Baleba. So the second athletic midfielder you're going to be going to is Lamine Camara. Lamine Camara from Monaco is actually a very good defensive midfielder and athletic midfielder. He has a very wonderful endurance because he never stops running. So endurance is also one of his strengths. And also when you look at his stats, you're going to find out that he's actually not good in ball carrying. His ball carrying is actually very poor. You could also look at his stats and find out that his ground use ratio is actually very high and very nice, and he's very athletic, he's very explosive, he has a very good agility. So that's actually a plus for Manchester United. And when you look at his ground uses, actually he ranks 13 for the most ground use ones for midfielders for 90 minutes in the whole of League One. So that tells you that he's actually a monster in winning ground use, and he's actually also very good aerially. Even if he's not actually 6 foot, he's not really tall, but he's actually good aerially. And if you look at the most long passes that has been made by under 21 in the top 5 leagues, Lamine Camara actually ranks number 5. That tells you that he's a player that is actually very good in transition and in long passes. So this is one of the options. This is the second option when it comes to athletic midfielders that Manchester United should buy this summer. It's actually sold for a very decent price. It's just available for 40 million euros. So this is the player that Manchester United can actually buy after sales. So Lamine Camara is the second name on our list for athletic midfielders. So guys, the third player on our list is actually Amadou Onana. Amadou Onana from Aston Villa is actually Premier League proven. He's actually very good in winning grand deals. Grand deals is actually one of his biggest strengths. If you look at his stats, he's actually very, very good in winning grand deals. If you look at his ball carrying ability is also very decent. But when it comes to his explosiveness, his agility, his reaction, is actually a little bit rigid and stiff, and so he's lacking in those characteristics. And when it comes to set piece, he's actually an asset for set piece because he has a very tremendous area ability. So that's that for Amadou Onana. Is actually available for £50 million. So this is actually one of the options that Manchester United can choose or pick from when it comes to getting an athletic midfielder. So the last option we are going to be talking about when it comes to athletic midfielder is actually Richard Ríos. Richard Ríos is a Colombian midfielder that plays for Brazilian side Palmeiras and is just available for €30 million. When it comes to Richard Ríos is actually very dominant physically. He's very good in area deals. When you look at the Club World Cup that has been played recently in the United States, actually Richard Ríos has won the most grand deals in the whole of the Club World Cup, 25, and he has actually won the most possession. He has won possession 19 times in the Club World Cup, and he's actually very good in carrying the ball. Richard Ríos actually can carry the ball for long distances with a very high intensity, and is actually a very explosive player. And if you have not seen my video on Richard Ríos about his tactical analysis, you can go to my channel and watch the video of Richard Ríos. I've actually talked about how he's going to be a wonderful midfielder for Ruben Amorim. So these are the 4 options that I feel that Manchester United can pick from when it comes to buying an athletic midfielder. So that's for this video today. I would like you guys to like, to share, to subscribe to Old Trafford. Like I said, and I always say in my video, it's not going to really take anything for you to actually subscribe to my channel. I see many people view my videos but they fail to subscribe to the channel. It's actually very bad. I want you guys to subscribe to this channel because you're going to be seeing more videos like this before the season starts. So see you guys in my next video. Ciao.